All over the country, people are moving back into the cities, and they expect to be able to live and work without having to own an automobile. They want to be able to have a reliable public transportation system. They want to be able to walk to where they want to go. They want to be able to get on a bike and bike to wherever they want to go. They want to have the connections that they need. It's about connecting Richmond with the country. Main Street Station is already a multimodal hub. We have intercity passenger rail, we make connections with our local bus service, and we have connections to the Capitol Trail. But we are planning for the future to have this be our hub for bike share. We'll have higher speed rail, and we'll make our connections with the bus rapid transit. So it is a new day, and it's a new opportunity for us to really think about what we want as a city. We have the opportunity right now to make changes. So we have been working with our partners, and we've been working with you to better understand what this transit system needs to look like. And the process that we're going through right now with the Richmond Transit Network Plan is really designed to help receive that information so that we can develop a transit system that will reflect the desires and the needs of what people are wanting today.
In the first phase of the Richmond Transit Network Plan, the city asked people what they value and what their priorities are. So what's more important to you, service during rush hours or service in the midday and in the evening and in the weekend? And also, what's more important to you, a short walk to your bus stop or a short wait once you get there? And then more generally, the city asked people, how should we trade off these goals which come into conflict in transit? Achieving high ridership by focusing our service where there's good ridership potential versus making sure everybody has a little bit of service all over the city. And this is a conflict we talk about as ridership versus coverage. Both are valuable, both are important, but within a fixed budget, the more you do of one, the less you do the other. They don't just have to pick one or the other. They can actually pick a place in between. Maybe people will look at the high ridership concept and they'll say, that's a little too extreme for me. Or they'll look at the high coverage concept and say, I like that, but I think it's a little too much. We need more frequency. And so they'll say, I would actually like us to be somewhere in the middle. And that's absolutely the type of input that people can and should give. Part of what happens when you move down this triangle is the buses also go faster on the street. Today, on average, GRTC buses go about 11 miles per hour. Anyone who's ever ridden the bus a lot knows that a lot of what the bus does with its time is not driving. It's actually pulling over to the curb to serve passengers, pick them up, let them off, and then pulling back out. This takes a lot of time, and it really takes a lot of time when you do it every single block, and that is the case on many GRTC routes. But if you can thin out the bus stops and encourage people then to walk one block more to get to a bus stop on the main street instead of right on the corner where they get to that main street, then the buses can go a lot faster. So what this would be like for someone who's using the service today is maybe today they just walk out to the main street and there's a stop right at that corner and they wait there. And probably there's another person waiting one block that way and another person waiting one block that way. And what could happen in the future if people want it is that instead of a stop on every block, there's a stop every third block. And that means that someone would walk to the main street and then they would walk one more block. So thinning out 2/3 of the bus stops, it sounds like a lot. The impact would be one block of extra walking. The question for the people in the city is, do you want some momentary disruption from thinning out bus stops to get, in exchange, faster service and also more service?
We're having this conversation about goals because there's not a technically right answer about what we're trying to achieve. There are different values. And so someone from one side of town wants to go after a particular goal, but someone on the other side of town wants a different goal. Our purpose in this conversation is to find the balance, because we can design a system that technically is good for any of those goals, but it's not going to be any good unless we're achieving that balance that the community wants.